Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sumit and I'm here with my new video in Salesforce Flows. And the topic for today's video is the stage indicator in Salesforce, the replacement of third-party progress bar indicator app. So in this today's video, I will be going to show you that how can we create a stage indicator, how can we configure a stage indicator in Salesforce Screen Flows. Instead of using a third-party progress bar indicator, which we download from the app exchange. So that basically a Lightning Web component, which was designed by uh, some company that was designed by someone else. So if you have gone through my previous videos, if you have gone through my one of my previous video in my YouTube channel, and there I've explained that how do we add the progress bar indicator on a screen flow. So there you will see that we might be downloading a third-party app by logging into App Exchange. And that app is basically it's a dynamic flow progress indicator. So that's a third-party app which is designed by using Lightning Web Component. Basically, it's a Lightning Web Component. But now we are going to add the stage indicator without installing any third-party application directly in our Salesforce portal. And how do we do this? That I will be going to tell you in today's session. So before we proceed for today's session, don't forget to like, subscribe my YouTube channel, and also don't forget to press the bell icon so you won't miss any updates on my channel. So, guys, let's proceed with today's topic. And for this, I'll navigate to setup first. So I'll just open setup. And in setup, look for flows in quick find and click on new flow button. So we will be going to create a new screen flow. In today's example, I will show you that we'll create a new account, its related contact. And when we switch from one screen to another, how do we show the stage indicator without installing any third-party app from the app exchange? So I'll look for a screen flow. So I select here screen and select screen flow. So the very first screen we'll be going to create here is for account screen. So I'll say new account screen, new account screen, and I will remove the header. Instead of header, let me display a text and label one. And I label this as new account form. You can format this as you want. It's up to you. You can apply formatting. And I'm going to add two input fields, one for account name and one field for phone. So I label this as account name and we'll make it required. We'll make this as a required field, phone. Label is already there, phone number, and API name as phone number. So we got two fields, account name and phone number, and we'll be going to create this record. So I'm going to create this record and let's say create account. Select manually option, and we would like to create a record into account object. And the fields, we have account name and phone field, account phone. So account name, we get the account name from screen account name and the phone number from the screen component account phone dot value. So like this way, we successfully create a new account. Now it's time to add a new contact. So I'll copy this element and paste element. I'll make the changes into that, but this saves my time. So click on screen 2 and I'm going to label this screen. So let's say new contact screen and header. Basically, instead of this, I'll select this, label this as label 2, and I would like to label this as new contact. Let's say, I think new contact. Now, I'm going to change these values. So the API name as, or we can do one thing, we can delete these fields and we can bring the fields again. So I need two text fields for first name and last name. So two text field, first name, last name, and phone field. So this, I label this as first name. I can make it required, although it is not required in the contact object, but I keep it as I set it as a required. And this phone number, I want this phone number to be set at the value, the same value as we have in the account phone number, what we entered in the previous screen. So I set the default value as account phone number dot value. And we'll do some configurations on this form. And what's that? For the footer, I can hide previous, I can hide pause, and the custom label as save contact. Same thing I will be doing on, okay, I forgot to label this actually, my bad. So phone number and label as phone number. And I say contact phone number because I need a differentiation while adding this. Done. On account screen, I will make some changes because here also we got buttons. So I just configure footer and remove pause previous. And this one, I just say save account, save. Now, the next screen we need to add is to create contact. So again, I just select create record element. And here I write create contact, create contact record. Same process manually, but this time the object will be contact object. And now we need to do the field mapping. First, last name, first name, phone number. Okay, I need phone number. This is phone. And one more field I'm looking for here that is called account ID. But the challenge is we don't have the account ID. So I will also show you that how do we fetch the account ID and pass that account ID over here. But first of all, let's map the fields, new contact screen, first name, and business phone, new contact screen, phone number, dot value. Now, from where we get the account ID? In order to get the account ID, we need to click on this create account record again. And we here is an option manually assign variable. So I check this box. And we are going to store this account ID in a variable. So I'm going to create a new resource. So I click here, toggle box, new resource button, and create a variable and label this as ACCID. Data type will be text. So this field we are going to use to store the account ID. So whenever a new account gets created, whatever the ID, whatever ID get generated after an account gets created, that account ID will be stored into this account ID variable, which we created by using a new resource. And the same variable I will be using in while creating the contact. So that same account ID I'll pass here. So like this way, this particular contact will be mapped to this account. So our flow is almost ready. Let's save this flow and I just write, let's say, stage indicator flow example. Save this. Now, what I want to do is when we run this or when we debug this, our flow gets open. So I just would like to know that how many stages are there, how many forms we need to fill so that the stage indicator it will indicate to the user that how many stages need to be completed, how many stages will be there. So that I would like to add. So from where I can add the stage indicator, because right now there is no stage indicator. As I mentioned that you can go through my previous, you can follow this previous step where we can download the dynamic flow progress and use that one in order for stage indicator. Or else now we have an inbuilt option which we can use as a stage indicator directly and without installing any additional software. And for that, I'll click on screen. And in a screen, when you check the screen properties, in screen properties, you will find out an option called stage. This is I was talking about. So you have to click on select a stage resource and we need to add a new stage resource. So I click on new stage resource. Now in this stage resource, there are four elements. First is the label. It's a user-friendly label for the stage. And the label is what running users see in the standard progress indicator. Then API name is there. API name, the same process, same rules, API name. And then there's a description. Description is basically stage and help you differentiate the stage from other resources. And there's an order. Order is basically it's required to determine how to sort this stage among the other stages in the flow. If we have multiple stages, so which stage will come first? This will be like a stage order, and it must be unique among all other stages in the flow. And the last one is active by default. Active by default means when the flow interview starts, so we need to add this to the we need to activate this. So I just set the label as, let's say, new account and order as one, new account stage, and I'll make it active by default. Done. As soon as I did that, you can see a new stage appear here, stage, and done. Same process we have to do on contact screen, but remember one thing, the stage sequences. So again, I click on new stage resource and I label this as new contact page, order number 2 and active by default, and done. Done. Save this and let's run it one more time. So now when I click run again, you can see I'm able to see the stage indicator on my flow. And this helps me to understand, this helps me to identify that there are two stages I need to complete, stage number 1, stage number 2. And once I complete stage number 1, let's say I create test account, phone number. And when I click save account, it will move to the next stage. And this indicates that we have successfully completed first stage and we are on stage number 2. So this is the way we can use the stage indicator. Yes, I agree that these stage indicators are not as visualized. They are not as visual as the previous one. But yes, still without downloading and without installing any third-party application, if we would be able to we'll be able to add the stages, I believe that will be enough. That would be useful actually. That would be very helpful. And that's what we'll be doing here. So that's the way we can configure and create a stage indicator in Salesforce flows. So that's all in this tutorial, in this video. If you found this useful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for this channel. If you have any questions, you can drop a comment or check the description below for the previous video. Until next time, keep automating and keep innovating with Salesforce. Have a nice day. Goodbye.